Hi everyone, my name is Monique, and today I'm going to be playing through a chapter in Tomb Raider: The Crypt of Chronos, which is a game that is currently on Kickstarter, designed by Luke Melia and published by Iconiq Studios, who are helping sponsor this playthrough. In this game, you play as Lara Croft, who is the popular main character from the video game series, on her adventure in order to find the Chronos artifact, a very mysterious artifact that can control time in some way. However, she must also try to protect the artifact against her enemies, the Natla Tech. And so this is a solo game that can be played in two different ways. The first way is via a 15-chapter adventure that is meant to be played sequentially, and then after that, you can choose to continue playing via completely randomized standalone campaigns. And so today, I'm going to be playing through one of the adventures in the adventure book, just so you have an idea as to what to expect from the gameplay, and I'll be teaching you the various mechanics as I play the game. But for more information regarding the game, as well as the campaign, I've included a link to their Kickstarter in the description below. Last but not least, if you enjoy content like this and would like to see more in the future, please consider subscribing. And with that, we are ready to begin. So, if you'd please direct your attention to the set at the table, we're all set up here for our solo game of Tomb Raider: The Crypt of Chronos. Welcome to the tomb. Now, like I was mentioning, today we're going to be playing through one of the chapters out of the adventure book. And more specifically, we're playing through chapter 4, which is called The Pit of Sisyphus. And so the way that the adventure book works is there are a total of 15 chapters, which are meant to be played sequentially in separate sessions. And each session can take anywhere from 20 to 60 minutes, depending on how long it takes you to accomplish the level. And in general, for each chapter, the adventure book will showcase the various setup instructions, as well as your objectives and various challenges that you can embark on as well. But keep in mind that both the adventure book, as well as all of the components that you see in front of me, are considered a prototype, which means it's not necessarily final. You may see changes in the final production copy of the game. Now, just to kind of give you the lay of the land here, Chapter 4 places us in a tomb. And of course, we are playing as Lara Croft, and our starting space is over here. Now, not all of the chapters take place in a tomb. The game comes with several of these terrain tiles that are double-sided. Some of them show a jungle side, some a tomb, and some chapters will take place in a cold mountain or desert. So it really just depends on the chapter you're playing. And specifically for this chapter, our objective is to collect the artifact, which is all the way across the board over here, and then make our way to the exit space, which is going to be this space over here. And I'm just going to mark it with a little token that does not come with the game, by the way, just so we can always know where our exit space is. However, it's not going to be that simple because there are a lot of challenges that are currently in our way. First of all, there is this large boulder, which is quite literally blocking our path. Before we can even get to the artifact, we will need to move this boulder out of the way. In addition, the board itself has 3 different types of spaces. Right now, we are standing on a standard low ground sort of space. And any spaces that are kind of this brighter gold here are considered to be higher ground. So they're going to have some implications when it comes to movement and combat. And finally, these darker spaces here are just completely blocked. So we cannot enter or attack through those spaces, although enemies, which are another challenge that we'll have to overcome, can see us through them. And as you progress through the various chapters, you'll also encounter other types of traps and obstacles, but specifically for this chapter, the only other thing we have to worry about are our doors. So we have 3 of them, 2 of which are red and 1 which is gold. Now, in order for us to open and close these doors, I will have to make my way over to the switch, which is probably in the furthest place imaginable. And flipping the switch just reverses the orientation of all of the same colored doors, which means it'll close that door and open that one. So I will probably have to return to the switch a couple of times during my playthrough here. Golden doors, on the other hand, are special because they always sort of operate on a unique rule of sorts. And so in this chapter, in order for me to open that door, I, of course, need to move the boulder all the way to this tile. This is tile number 1, and the boulder has to be completely within this tile. And each tile is a 3x3 grid here, which means I have to move the boulder completely to this 2x2 space, which means this chapter is going to require me to move quite a lot. Fortunately, it's fairly easy to move the boulder. All I have to do is move forward, basically directly to it, and it moves in the opposite direction that I'm pushing it. The only problem, though, is it is blocked by these various barriers, which means I will have to sort of run around the board in order to continue moving it to get it to where I need it to go. So that is going to be my biggest challenge here. Now, the way that the game works is each round is split into 3 phases, always starting with the Laura phase, where we are going to take all of our turns, followed by the enemy phase, where the enemies will all move and potentially attack me. And at the start of the game, we just have this one enemy, fortunately, who is facing this way, so not a super big threat right now. And then we'll always end in the event phase, where we'll draw and resolve 1 or 2 of these event cards, and they can be either good or bad, because they are events. We never know what's going to happen in this tomb. So then, during the Lara phase, you get to take all of your actions. And the way that the Lara phase works is you have the 6 teal Lara dice, which you're going to be using in order to take the various actions that you have on your player board. At the start of the game, you have 6 basic actions, and you can spend any number of your dice taking each action, but every time you spend dice, they're going to be considered used. So you only have 6 dice to use per round, which means once you've exhausted all 6 of your dice, that ends the Lara phase. And these actions will include the ability to move around the board, which we are going to be doing a lot. You can also search and research, which are 2 actions that'll help us be a little bit more crafty. They'll help us gain some resources so that we can craft stuff via our crafting bench, via an additional weapon, which we can hold 2 of, maybe craft an outfit, which we can put on, and that gives us special abilities, as well as ability cards that function as additional types of actions, and our board has space for 2 of them. In addition, since we are so far away from the enemy, we start the chapter hidden. But as you'll see over the course of the game, we will become seen, which makes our location very dangerous for enemies that will spawn on the board. And another type of action that you can take is the ability to hide once you're seen. And these last 2 abilities have to do with combat. So I'll explain them once we get there, because we will definitely encounter some enemies along the way. So then, the first couple of things that I'm probably going to want to do is I'm probably going to want to just walk straight so that I can push this boulder 1 space, and then probably head in this direction because I will need to flip that switch in order to open this door, because these are completely blocked spaces, which means if I want to move the boulder this way, I'll have to come around the long way to push it again. So it's going to require a lot of movement. Let's just go ahead and start by taking the move action. Now, whenever you choose an action to take, you're going to choose the number of dice that you'd like to roll when taking the action. I'm just going to roll 3 of them for now. I know I need to move a lot, but I may also want to search this turn. So now each die has 4 different types of faces. There is just a complete blank, which is considered to be a failure. There's a single success. We also have a double success, and then there is a sacrifice, which when rolled, you'll be given the option of discarding one of your event cards in order to turn this into a success, and that will have some implications that we'll discuss later. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll my dice. All right, so we have 1 double success and 2 blanks. Now, the way that the move action works is regardless of the face you roll, you always get to move a number of spaces equal to the number of dice you rolled. So I knew that I was going to at least be able to move 3 spaces. Now, each action also tells you what happens depending on the result of your die. So in the case of the move action, I get to move 1 space per die plus 1 additional space for each success. So in this case, I get to move 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces because I had a double success here. Now, had this been a complete failure of a roll, I would still be able to move the 1 space per die, but I would now have to make noise on my starting space. And so we have this noise token that would go on the starting space, and it would basically make all the enemies move towards me during the enemy phase. Now, because we're in a tomb, apparently the Chronos artifact has a stronger influence on time. And so anytime you play a chapter where you are in a tomb, the adventure book will tell you any additional rules that have to do with time. And specifically for this chapter, the rule is rush. We potentially get to move faster. Anytime you roll failures, which are the blank spaces, specifically when you're taking the move action, you get to re-roll them once. So I'm going to go ahead and re-roll these first before moving. So good. All right. So now I have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 movements, which is fantastic. Now, movement in this game is very simple. You have to move in an orthogonal direction, but you can always change directions. That just means you can't move diagonally. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, pushing the boulder, and I'm going to move this way. Let's go 4, 5. Oh, it's unfortunate that it's an odd number. That's okay. I'll move this way. 6, 7. And the reason why I say that is because in order for me to move onto the high spaces, you have to spend 1 additional point of movement. So if I wanted to go this way, it would have had to have been 6, 7, 8. So that's okay. Moving this way does move us closer to the switch because again, I need to open this door. So now my action is done and these 3 dice have been spent, which means I can no longer use them until the next round. Now I can continue to move again, or I can choose to search or do some research if I'd like. It is very tempting to search because, as you'll see, we will need to use some resources in order to craft these additional items. In addition to the weapon, outfit, and ability cards, we can also craft ammo for our weapons, we can craft additional health, or we can even unlock these special dice. But seeing as the enemy right now is turned away from me, this is probably a good opportunity to try to get onto that high point and flip the switch. So I'm going to spend 2 more dice to move because it's going to give me at least 2 movement points to get on top of that high point. So let's go ahead and do that again. And now we've rolled a sacrifice symbol. So the way that this works is I can choose to discard one of my event cards, which will increase the timer for something bad happening, basically, in order to turn this into a success. If I choose not to, then it's just a failure. So I'm going to choose not to because I assume for this scenario, I get to re-roll it. Since it's a failure, you can re-roll it once. All right, it's a double success. So that was pretty good. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 movements. So that's a bit overkill because I really just need to get on top of this switch here. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. And then that ends that. And in order for you to flip a switch, you have to just spend a die. You don't roll it or anything. You just spend it. So I've spent this die. I flip this red switch, which reverses all of the red doors. Now, in future scenarios, you might have blue doors, which is why the color of the switch is important, because it only switches the red doors. So now this door is open, but this door is closed, which of course is a problem because eventually I will need to go around, I'm assuming. Yeah, the boulder will eventually get to this space here and I will need to push it from here. So multi-step process. But there you go. We have spent all of our Lara dice. If you have any resources, then you can continue to craft items before you end this phase. And just so you know, because each scenario is meant to be played sequentially, and I'm technically playing chapter 4, you do carry resources and weapons from chapter to chapter. So it is possible that by the time you play chapter 4, you will have resources to start the chapter with. We do not, so we're going to go ahead and end the Lara phase here, and now we move to the enemy phase. So during this phase, all of the enemies on the board will move, and if you are within their range, their weapon range, then they will also attack. If there are several enemies on the board, then it goes from left to right, top to bottom in that priority order. Right now, we just have this one enemy who is a protector, by the way, which is unfortunate because I don't really want to eliminate them, but they are going to be trying to eliminate me. So now there are 3 different types of enemies that you'll see spawn on the board, and they each have different values for movement as well as attack, etc. Fortunately, protectors are the slowest. They have a movement value of 3. And when I'm hidden, they're just going to be sort of patrolling the area. So this protector is going to move 3 spaces, 1, 2, and all of the different movement and combat restrictions apply the same way towards the enemy as they do for me, which means in order for them to get onto the high ground, they also have to spend 2 movement points. Now, if they only have 1 left, and it is possible for them to move in a different direction, they will. So because they have 1 movement point left, they're going to rotate 90 degrees clockwise, and they'll continue moving if they can. So we have a protector who is very hold off here. And the various spawn points determine the direction that the enemy faces in. So our starting protector just happened to be looking this way. Now that that's done, we're going to move into the event phase. And the way that that works is if there is at least 1 enemy on the board, then we draw 1 event card. If there are no enemies, then we draw 2. So we just draw 1, which is not bad. This one's bad. All right. So each event card has 2 different sides to it. There's the regular side and then the Natla side. Now, we are going to ignore all of the Natla sides for this gameplay, but I'll tell you the significance of them later. They are much more difficult to handle. So for this event, an enemy spawns, and this is specifically a wildlife type. That's what that symbol represents. There are 2 different types of wildlife. Miniatures, they're functionally the same. So let's just go ahead and spawn a snake. And when spawning, you roll the enemy die. and place the enemy at that spawn point. So they're going to join the protector in 1 over here. And if this spawn point is blocked for any reason, then you would just add 1 to the value and sort of move them to a different spawning point. All right, I guess that could have been worse because it's not bad right now, and I am still hidden because neither of these two enemies can currently see me. So it's back to the Lara phase, and I think it's time to run because as you'll see soon, each enemy has a line of sight rule that can basically allow them to see 6 spaces in front of them. Fortunately for me, they cannot see behind them, which is why I'm still hidden. Now, it would be nice for us to move at least 7 spaces because we can sort of hide behind that high point there. So let's try to roll. Let's go with 3 dice. I'm hoping to get at least a 7, which is kind of asking for a lot. Okay, so this is 5 right now. I'm gonna re-roll this because of our rush rule, and that's a sacrifice. So I can either move for 5 or I can discard an event card to move for 6. Let's see what that gives us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's just go with the 5 and not sacrifice anything right now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. The thing that's nice about where we are right now is we are technically behind a high space. This is a high space right here. And even if these 2 enemies were to turn around, because they are on low ground, high spaces obstruct their vision. So they won't be able to see me. They'll still keep patrolling during their phase, which means maybe it is time for us to do some of our craftier actions, either search or research. Now, like I was mentioning, we do not have any resources. So if we would like to sort of prepare for the future, then we would probably need to search. So the search action can only be done once per Lara phase. So this is my one-time shot. I need to choose the amount of dice that I want to use wisely. If I roll at least 1 success, then I get to draw 1 resource token, and it's going to be from the resource bag. If I roll a 3 or higher, 3 or more successes, then I get to draw 3. This also means if I rolled 2 successes, I would still only gain 1 resource because you downgrade, you round down essentially. And if I roll no successes, then it just doesn't do anything. So we need at least 1 success. Oh, that's great. So we rolled 3 successes, which means we get to draw 3 of these resource tokens from the bag. And I'm just going to shuffle these really quick. All right, and we have 2 scrap and 1 cloth. Okay, so it's kind of nice that we drew different types of resources because if you look at your crafting bench over here, it tells you what combination of resources you need to turn in order to craft the thing. And this can be done at any time during the Lara phase. So if I turn in 1 oil and one of these, basically the one that I do here, then I craft 5 ammo. If I turn in a cloth and an oil, it's 3 health, etc. In addition, I can turn in several of the same type of resource in order to craft these cards. So if I want to craft a weapon, that would have to be 5 at least of this type of resource to take 1, or I can turn in 7 of them to draw 2 and keep 1 if I wanted a choice. The cloth are good for outfits, and oil is good for abilities. There is a 4th type of resource called treasure, which acts as a wild, but we did not draw that today. I'm just going to keep these over here because we're not going to be crafting quite yet. We don't have a combination that suits any of those things, but at least we are more prepared for the future. All right. With this final die, I would like to do the research action, which can also only be done once per Lara phase. And the research action is how you gain these research cards. These cards are really nice. I'm just going to show you some of them because they allow you to save these cards for when you need them at a later date. So like dodge a trap, skip an enemy phase. These are they're very, very, very helpful. But they're a little bit difficult to gain because if you rolled at least 1 success, you place 2 cubes on this space. And as soon as you have 3 cubes, you remove them all and you gain a research card. Alternatively, if you roll 2 successes, then you just gain a research card and all of the cubes stay there. So I guess it's not difficult per se. You just have to not take another action with those dice in order for you to take the research action, which can be expensive in the moment. So let's just do it. Because if anything, you always get to place 1 cube because if this is a fail, then it's 1 cube. So, all right, 1 success. So this is 2 cubes and I have them off screen here. So we are 1 away from gaining ourselves a research card. All right, that is it. It is now on to the enemy phase. Now we have 2 enemies. So it's going to be starting with the Protector, who again moves 3 spaces. They cannot keep moving straight, so they're going to rotate again, and they can move onto this sort of isolated high point for 2. Now, because they only have 1 more movement, they can't move in any direction, so they'll just stay there. The thing is, had I been on this high point or on the low areas in between, then they would be able to see me. But because I am behind the high point, then they still can't see me, which is good. Wildlife, on the other hand, move a little bit faster. So they have 4 spaces of movement. They're going to go 1, 2, turning here, 3, and then they can't continue moving, so they're going to turn, and move back here, 4. All right, so we're still good. Let's draw an event card. Again, it's just 1 right now. Oh, okay. So this is a good event card. These are special cards. And whenever you draw these, you have to decide in the moment whether or not you'd like to gain whatever it says at the top here, which in the case of this event allows me to take 1 weapon, outfit, or ability. I basically gain an upgrade. And if I do, then this event card actually goes out of the game for this session. Typically, event cards get discarded, and once you get to the end of the event card deck, then you reshuffle the event cards, but something happens. And this part is bad, but it has future game implications. You gain one of these Natla tokens. And basically, at the start of a chapter, each chapter in the adventure book basically tells you the Natla invasion range, which is basically how many tokens you need to have in order for the chapter to be considered invaded. And if at the start of the chapter, you have at least that many tokens because you had to refresh the event deck that many times, then you actually start the chapter, but playing on the invaded side, which is all of the more negative sides of the card. So this is not something that's going to come into play this chapter because we did not start the chapter invaded. But just so you know, when you're playing through the entire adventure book, the chapters will become harder because of these little pins here. So that is a very important consideration that you'll need to keep in mind when resolving these types of events. I am just going to do it though. So I would like to take an ability. That would be nice. So this card goes out. And so I'm just gonna go ahead and draw the top card from the ability deck here, which says Sprint. So this is a new type of action that is going to be available to us. And I'm assuming this is a faster version of move. It lets us move up to 6 spaces in a straight line with 1 success. Or if I have 2 successes, move up to 9 spaces in a straight line, and you can move through enemies. So in this game, we haven't encountered it yet, but you can move through enemies. It just costs 1 additional movement point. That's fantastic, specifically for this scenario, because we need to move a lot. All right, back to the Lara phase. So here we go. We don't have this pin quite yet. Now, as fantastic as the sprint action is, I actually don't want to move in a straight line right now, because I need to move around here and push the boulder, and then I need to move back. That's the thing that's tough. So let's just do a basic move action. Let's roll 3 dice. Let's just see how far we can get with 3 dice. Okay, so we have 1 success, 2 sacrifices, which I'm going to re-roll because I'm choosing not to sacrifice for them. Okay, so this is a sacrifice, and this is a double success. So right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 movement with a potential for 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's just go with 6 because it leaves us behind this high point. So we're not going to do the sacrifice, but we still get the 1 point of movement for the die itself. So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, let's move. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pushing the boulder. And then now we have to go back around. And we also have to switch that trap again so that we can open that door. 6. So we're headed in this direction. Now, it's still not strategic for us to be able to sprint right now. So honestly, I'm just going to use the rest of them to move. Let's just move again. Oh, research. Maybe we save 1. We can get a research card if we save 1. Okay. Okay, so let's re-roll them. They're both sacrificial, and they're sacrificial again. Okay, so I can move 2 spaces, or I could potentially move 4. Let's go 1. Let's just move 2 spaces. 1, 2. Because I'm behind the high point, so we're not sacrificing anything. All right, for this last die, let's do research. And it is technically a fail because I'm not going to choose to sacrifice an event card, but that gains us 1 cube. which means we are going to be able to draw a research card because all 3 cubes are placed. So we remove them and we get a research card. And these can be saved for later, which is great. So this looks like you get to hide yourself instead of having to take the hide action, which we'll explain later. So I'm going to save this for later because obviously we don't need it right now. And for the future, if you don't actually use this during the session at all, then you can save it for future chapters. So anyway, that is it for the Lara phase. Let's move on to the enemy phase. So this is where things are going to get tough because they're going to move first. They have 3 movements. This is 1, 2, 3. I'm so lucky that they're on low ground. Had they been able to make it onto this high point, then I would be seen. And if they can see me, each enemy also has their own weapon that has a specific range. And I would be within range here, which means they would start to attack me. But fortunately, I think we're still good. Now, one little disclaimer that I will note here is whenever I play these types of games, I try to do my best to follow the rules to a T, but sometimes I may make mistakes or I might make a call that was actually more beneficial to me than it's supposed to be, because in the case of any sort of ambiguity, you're supposed to move the enemies in a way that makes it the least beneficial for your character. So just keep that in mind. All right, moving on to the wildlife here. So I believe they're moving this way and they move 4 spaces. So 1, turning 90 degrees, 2, 3, and then 4. So now they're up here. And I know it may seem like they're sort of just patrolling over here, but if ever I either make noise or I become seen, then all of the enemies just head straight towards me. And that's regardless of when they spawn. They could spawn after the fact, but as long as I'm seen, then they all start heading in my direction. All right, event phase. So we have Rush. Uh-oh. Okay, so this is the 3rd type of event card. There are spawning cards, there are the special ones that I just resolved that are nice, and then there are these events where something bad happens. So this says all enemies move and attack again. Okay, so this is bad because now this enemy is going to move. So they're going to go 1, 2. They are technically adjacent to me now, and I am technically seen. So all of that talk about being proud, about not being seen, it's all out the window because they can see me, and now they're going to attack. Protectors have a weapon that actually has a range of 2 in a straight line, which means I'm definitely within range, and when they attack, they deal 2 damage. Now, there's no dice rolling or anything like that when it comes to combat for them, but basically for each damage they deal, I lose health. And the way that you lose the game is if you're playing the full adventure, every time you go down to 0 health, you actually lose one of your Lara dice. And if ever you lose all of your Lara dice for the entire adventure, basically, then you lose the game. If you're playing a single session like we are, then we lose once it gets to 0. Fortunately, I do have an action here that allows me to try to dodge the attack in order to avoid a certain amount of damage. But it requires me to spend my dice that I will not have in the next Lara phase. Now, when considering the elevation, you can always shoot downwards from a high point, but say, for example, on my turn, I could not shoot this enemy because you cannot shoot upwards. The good thing for me, though, is when you are shooting downwards from an elevated space, and that's regardless of whether you're the enemy or when I'm attacking as Lara Croft, you deal 1 less damage, which means instead of taking 2 damage from this hit right now, I would only take 1. Let's just spend 1 die, just so we can try to avoid the hit. Okay, I'm gonna try to dodge. Oh, okay, we succeeded. So if it were a blank, then nothing would happen. I would just lose the die for the next Lara phase, but because we rolled 1 success, we avoid 1 damage, which was the one that we needed to avoid. So this die is out, though, just for the next Lara phase. I cannot use it. Okay, but we are not done because we do have another enemy who is going to move and attack again. And now that I'm seen, they're just going to move directly for me. So they have 4 points of movement. So they're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So fortunately, I am still out of range for them, so they won't be attacking me right now. But that is it. And again, this was all because of this awful event card, which in hindsight, we probably should have done one of the sacrifice options when I rolled my dice, because it would have allowed us to discard this card, but we had no idea that that was coming. All right, well, now it is back to me for another Lara phase, and that was a bit of a close call. We almost took our first damage. I think I need to be a little bit more smart. I need to be smarter, I think, about how I play the rest of this, and I should take the sacrifices when necessary. Now, you may be wondering whether or not I can spend this to go hidden, and short answer is I can't, because if I were to become hidden, I would just be seen again, since I'm still in this enemy's line of sight. And while we're on the topic of line of sight, I think I mentioned this briefly earlier, but basically every enemy has a block of a 3x6, so 3 squares wide, with them being in the middle, and 6 squares long, always in the direction that they are facing. So they cannot see anything behind them. It's always in the same direction. But again, if they're on the low terrain, then any high terrain or barriers just blocks the way. But they can't see from high to low, which is why it would still be seen. Maybe not by this enemy, but definitely by this one. Considering that, what I might want to do is run over to the switch and close this door first, so that this enemy can't get to me easily, knowing they can only move 3 spaces. So that's what I'll do. For my first action, I'm actually gonna do this. I'm gonna sprint. So it says I can move up to 6 spaces in a straight line or up to 9 spaces in a straight line. Now I only have 5 dice because I used 1 die to dodge. So I'm gonna just take my chances. I'm gonna take my chances with one die, because how many? There are 2 die faces here. So, I mean, what is that, a 1 in 3 shot? All right, let's do it. Just one success, please. Okay, that is a sacrifice. Let's do it this time. It's not a move action, so I don't think this qualifies as getting to reroll at once. So I'm just gonna discard the top event card, which is actually a good thing because this would have been bad for me. So I discarded the top event card to turn this into a success. It is a single success, allowing me to move up to 6 spaces in a straight line. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that was 6 spaces in a straight line. It did not indicate altitude. So now I'm just gonna take a basic move, just spending 1 die, because I really just need to move 1 space. Okay, so that's 2 spaces technically. But I'm gonna move on top of the switch. I'm gonna discard a die to flip it. So now this door closes and this one opens. I am technically still within the line of sight of this enemy because, again, high can see high spaces as long as they're within their typical line of sight, which is that 3x6. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, wait, no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I could technically go hidden. Now, once you're already seen, there really are only 2 main ways within the game to hide. One of the ways is by taking the hide action. And you can only do this if there are no enemies on your tile, which there aren't. And, you know, technically, if you can't already be seen immediately after doing that, or else that would be a waste. And the other way is if there are just no enemies on the board at all, then you basically become hidden. The third way, which is our little secret here, is our research card, which I can just spend to become hidden. But at the same time, I'm thinking there's no point because they're still gonna move in the same general direction now that I've closed this door because they can't move through it. So I'm just not gonna use this right now. I'm just gonna keep it at that. So now let's just take another move action and I'm gonna spend the rest of my dice because I only have 2 left. And then I'll make a determination as to whether or not I should hide, I guess. All right. So this is technically 3 movements with a potential for 4. Let's re-roll this first, since it's a move action. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's a 2. Okay. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 movements. Let's just run towards the boulder. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm here and I'm trying to get to the boulder so that I can push it down this way. All right. That is it. Enemy phase, starting with this enemy. 3 movements. So they're going to go 1, 2. That door blocks the way, so they're going to turn and go 3, I believe. Now this enemy moves 4 spaces, so they're going to go 1, 2, and then they can't move through this enemy because it costs 1 additional movement point, but they do have 2 more movements, so I believe they will go 3, 4. It still brings them somewhat closer to me. But again, they can see through these spaces, but they cannot move or attack through them. So that's good. All right, event card time. Ooh, +5 ammo. Now, this is one of those cards where you use it or discard it. You use it and take it out, or you just discard it. I have no use for this right now because whenever you gain ammo, you have to split it amongst your 2 weapons. I only have 1 weapon right now, which I haven't even used yet, my dual pistols, and it's fully loaded. It starts the game fully loaded, so that would be a waste. I'm just gonna discard it so that when we reshuffle the event card deck, I have the chance of seeing it again. All right, fantastic. It goes back to me, and I have all of my dice back. I definitely can't go hidden, so let's try to move again and roll 3 dice. I would love to be able to move 6 spaces. That would be great. All right. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if this turns into success, or even a sacrifice, honestly, success. Okay, so 6 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, and let's push the boulder. 3, 4, 5, 6. So pick up the boulder, don't drag it. So I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So I pushed the boulder all the way south. All I need to do now is push it all the way this way and get it on that 1 tile so that I can unlock this door and get the artifact. Now, the problem is in order for me to get here, which I will need to do to push it this way, I need to go all the way around. So fortunately I opened this door, but this is high terrain. So I'm gonna need to move quickly. So I'm just gonna spend the rest of my dice on moving because I want to run away right now. And if either of these 2 get too close to me, then I will attack them with my dual pistols. So here we go, regular move action. Wow, 1, so this is 3, 4, 5, 6, and the sacrifice die, which I'm gonna re-roll. Let's see. Nice, 7. So this is 3 plus 4 is 7 spaces. We can move really far away with that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we can hide. Do we want to hide? Alternatively, I can go this way. But I think while I have the movement now, I should try to get onto high ground. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm just going to stay up here and end my turn there. And technically, this could be a good opportunity to go hidden because then they'll start just patrolling again. And if I happen to have to spawn another enemy, I don't have to worry about them. Like if I spawn on the 3, I don't have to worry about them heading directly for me because technically this enemy is on low ground, so they cannot see high. So I'm not in their line of sight. And this enemy is facing this way and they're 3 squares and there. So I'm not in their line of sight either. Let's do it. I'm going to spend this card now, the card that I researched. I researched how to hide, and now I am hidden again. So, just so you know, in addition to determining where the enemy moves, whether or not you are hidden or seen also affects your melee ability. So we haven't used this yet because I have not needed to attack the enemies yet. But when I go to attack, I can either attack them using a weapon, which is typically a ranged sort of action or maneuver, or I can do a melee attack as long as I'm adjacent to them. And if I perform a melee attack while I'm hidden, I actually do more damage. But if I'm seen, then it's riskier. I do less damage, and if I don't roll any successes, then it ends my Lara phase immediately. So there are other sort of repercussions to being seen. But that is it. That ends my Lara phase. Let's go ahead and move the enemies. So again, left to right. So starting with this one, they're gonna move 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. Then this one will move 4 spaces. So they no longer are targeting my direction, which means they are facing this way. So they're going to move 4 spaces. They can't move straight. So they're going to rotate and move 1, 2, 3, 4, I believe. I hope I'm not cheating here. But I am still hidden because they are still on low ground and I am high ground. And I'm also not within their 3 square width either. All right, event card time. An enemy spawns. So this was perfect. I'm glad that we went hidden for this occasion. So this enemy represents another protector. So I'm going to go ahead and spawn a protector at 2. Where's 2? Here. So they're going to spawn in this direction looking this way, which is going to be probably bad for me soon because I need to come around this way. All right. That is the event. So now it's back to us for our Lara phase. And like I was mentioning, I need to get around. So I really just need to move a lot. If I can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then I can do the whole sprinting thing. So how many? Is that 3 dice? Is that 3 dice that I probably need to spend? Ugh, I'm moving so much. Let's go move. Okay, so this is 3, 4. So let me re-roll these ones and see. Wow. Okay, it's too much. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So now, oh my gosh, am I within? This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, that was so close. That was a close call. I was almost seen. I have to be really cautious of that. So on their turn, they're going to move 1, 2, 3. So they're going to end there facing this way. So I need to not end up within these spaces. I need to move. Let's just, how many dice to spend to move? Let's just spend all of them. This is going to be just a straight movement turn. All right, so this is 6. 3 plus 3 is 6. No re-rolls. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh my gosh. So I'm fortunate that this enemy spawned facing this way because their 3 block diameter here is here. So they're looking at this here. They're going to move 1, 2, rotate to face that way, 3, and then their radius is going to be here. So I'm not going to be seen. Perfect. All right. So enemy phase, this time starting with the wild enemy here, our animal friend. So they move 4 spaces. So 1, 2, 3, turn 4. Okay. This defender is moving straight 3 spaces, 1, 2, 3, now that they're back in patrolling mode. And then like we said already with this one, they go 1, 2, rotate 3, because this is a barrier. And I'm so close, but not seen. But if I want to push this straight, I will become seen very soon. So I may want to try to just attack this person. All right. We have an event. Oh, I can draw 2 resources. This is fantastic, but I will have to remove the event deck. I will have to remove this card from the event deck after use. Let's do it. So I'm going to remove this, and I'm going to draw 2 resources from the handy bag. I really haven't been doing much with the resources because I haven't had the combination that I needed to craft anything. So hopefully we can find something good. Haha! This is treasure. So these count as wild resources, but this is 2 of one type, and this is 2 of one type as well, which means I couldn't say this is oil and cloth. Like, I would have to choose one type when I spend them. So these are great. I'm glad that I took that, and we'll see if I need to use them. Like, as of right now, I could use them to craft a weapon or an outfit, really. But I also want to be cautious of my health. I have 10 health still. I'm one of those people where, like, when I play a video game or something, I always need to keep going back up to max health because I'm so scared, so scared of going all the way down to 0. So I'm going to hold on to them for now, maybe for one more turn. And now that I'm back in the Lara phase, I think it is time to engage in combat because if not, I'll be seen. And clearly I'm referring to this enemy over here who is a protector. Now, protectors have a health of 4. So just like movement, the 3 different types of enemies have different amounts of health. And there is a player aid in the rule book, so you don't need to memorize this. When attacking regular enemies, because there are bosses in the adventure, it's just we're not going to see one in this scenario, but when attacking regular enemies, you have to deplete all their health in one go, which means I cannot piecemeal it. I basically have to hit them for 4, or I don't actually remove them from the board. So I can either try to melee attack them, which would require me really to go around this way and sneak attack them, or else I'll become seen first, because becoming seen happens basically at any point in the game. Or I can just move 1 space down this way and try to shoot them with my dual pistols, which is probably the better idea. So let me spend 1 die on moving. And of course, this is a sacrifice, so I'm going to re-roll it. Okay, so this is technically 2 movements, but I really only need to move 1. And I'm going to turn to face them. That does not cost an action. You just rotate your miniature there. And now I can attack the enemy with my dual pistols, because my dual pistols has a range of 2 spaces in front of me. So I can basically either attack an enemy that's here or here. However, whenever I use my dual pistols, dice must be rolled in pairs. So I have to roll 2 or 4 of them, basically, which is a lot of dice. For each success I roll, that is 1 point of damage that I do. And again, I have to hit them for 4 or else this doesn't do anything. So let's just try with 2 because I don't want to spend 4 dice. Okay, I hit them for 2, which is not enough. Now I can make up the difference by spending ammo. So my dual pistol starts with 4 ammo. I basically spend down, for each ammo I spend, that's an additional point of damage. So I spent down to 2, and now I've hit them for the total of 4, which removes them from the board. I also get to draw a random resource from the bag. So whenever you defeat an enemy, you get a resource. So there's a little bit of a kickback here, and it is another cloth. Okay, so we have 2 cloth. We've got some stuff here. All right. Now, the bad thing is some weapons make noise, and these are dual pistols, so you could probably imagine how noisy these truly are. And when making noise, you place the noise token underneath the spot or underneath your miniature whenever you make the noise. And now, during the enemy phase, all of the enemies are going to move towards the noise token. I'm still hidden, which means I can move around and they're not going to follow me, but they will move in the direction of this token. And it's going to stay there until either I become seen or I make noise somewhere else or until they actually reach the token. But there you go. We've defeated our first enemy. Now, if ever I run completely out of ammo, then I cannot use this. So you can only roll dice to use your weapons as long as you have at least 1 ammo. And at that point, I would just have to use my crafting bench to craft additional ammo. Not a big deal, but also one of the main reasons why I'm not crafting with my items yet, because I really need oil if I want to either, craft one of these 2 things, and I don't have that yet. So I'm kind of saving my treasure here just in case I need to do that. All right, let's take some chances on a sprint action to just run straight. I just need 1 success, just 1. It's a sacrifice. Okay, let's do it. So I'm going to sacrifice an event card. Haha! That was a good one. To turn this into a success. So 1 success lets me move up to 6 spaces in a straight line. So I'm going to go 1, 2, and then this is going to move 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm still technically not in either of their line of sights because this protector is looking this way. This animal is looking that way. So I'm behind both of them. And now I need to make my way this way. So this protector, during the enemy phase, he's going to move 1, 2, 3. So he's going to be looking this way. I really don't want to be within this 6 squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So maybe I should just stay because I don't think I'll be able to move that far with 2 dice. So then let's just research with them. I'm going to research with both dice, hoping that I can gain a research card. So this is technically 2 cubes. And if I want to sacrifice an event card, then I can just draw a research card. Let's do it. I'm going to sacrifice an event card. Grand. And I'm going to just take a research card. This lets me re-roll a dice roll. Okay, so that's helpful. So I'm going to hold on to that. And I think at this point I will not craft. I will end the Lara phase and go into the enemy phase. So this animal is going to move 4 spaces. So 1, they turn. 2, 3. And since they can't move onto this space, they're going to turn and move 4. Now, fortunately for me, I am behind the boulder. And the boulder does act as a blocker. As you can imagine, boulders are huge. So I am so close to this snake. So now it's the protector's turn to move 3 spaces. So 1, turn, 2, and 3. Okay, and now for an event. Let's see. Darts. Okay, so these types of events present a challenge. I have to choose one. I can either jump when the darts try to hit me and take 3 damage, or I can run. Oh no. Wait, hold on. Let me rewind this real quick. So this snake was here looking that way, and the protector was this way, I believe. They're not just regular patrolling. They're headed towards this sound token. So you're supposed to take the most detrimental path possible, and this is where sometimes I make the wrong calls, so please excuse me. But I'm assuming the snake would still just go 1, 2, 3 and stay there because I don't think going this way will ever bring them closer to the sound token, right? Because there's no path this way. They would have to go around. The protector would not go straight. He'd probably head back. So 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. Probably facing this way. And fortunately for me, still not in either of their line of sights. Yeah, I think that's how it's gonna go. Which is bad because I'm probably gonna need to attack this protector. All right, so back to darts. To deal with this trap, I can either take the 3 damage, and when doing so, I can still roll my dodge ability to try to bring that down. Or I can just discard a treasure, specifically a treasure token. I'm gonna discard treasure. I'm just gonna do it. I know it feels like a waste. It feels like I shouldn't do it, but I'm just gonna do it because, again, I have the health fear. So, all right, let's just move on. So that was the event card. And now I move on back to the lore phase. I really didn't want to lose any more of my dice either, so. Okay, now no matter what I do, I'm going to become seen by this protector. So I might as well move and hit them. So here we go, 2 dice. I'm taking a move action. So this one I get to reroll. All right, so that's 4. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. I am technically adjacent to the protector. I'm now seen because I'm within his line of sight, basically, which means I could try to melee attack him, but each success is only 1 hit. And again, he has a health of 4, so that's really not enough. I guess I will just have to go with my dual pistols. So these 2 are done. I could try to just run away, but I don't think I want to take that risk. So dual pistols, hoping for 4. That's 2. All right, I'm spending down the rest of my ammo. So no more ammo in my dual pistols. I cannot use that again until I refill it. But at least it was a success. I hit him for 4 and I get to draw a random resource. And they're off the board, so that's nice. All right, I am hoping for oil. Oh, it's a treasure. Okay, single treasure. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, honestly, because I might as well just craft now. So in order to craft ammo, I need to turn in 1 oil and 1 scrap. And I can use the treasure in place of the oil, and I have 1 scrap. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn these in, and now I have 5 ammo. 1 will be wasted because my dual pistols only carry a maximum of 4. I only have 1 weapon, my starting weapon. I did not gain any additional, but at least I can use my dual pistols again. Now, I'm still seen. This actually gets removed because I'm seen. So they're just going to be heading towards me, and no need to place this where I am because everybody knows where I am, and I made noise there. But if I really cared, I could try to hide, although I don't think I do care too much because it's not really going to influence the direction that this wild animal goes in. And if an enemy were to spawn, it happens after the enemy phase. So I'm just going to take a move action and roll both of these dice and hope for the best. Okay, so I have a 2, and I'm going to re-roll this because of the rush. Okay, it's another sacrifice. So I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. 4 or 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do it. I'm going to sacrifice a card. Oh, that's +2 resources. Okay, I sacrificed a card so that I can move 5 spaces. So okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I'm on high ground. It makes it much more difficult for enemies to attack me. All right, enemy phase. So the animal will move 1, 2, 3, 4, and they are headed for me because I am seen. And now we have an event. So we have another enemy that spawns. So this is another wild animal. Let's go with the wolf this time, and let's see where the wolf will spawn. At 6. Oh no, this is bad. So 6 is here, but they're facing that way. So I don't know. I'm going to have to run at this point. I really just need to move the boulder 1 more space, grab the artifact, and then run all the way back. Oh, I could go this way. I just need to reach the exit, basically. And also, there needs to be no enemies on the tile that I'm on in order for me to exit. So, not too bad with my sprint ability here. I feel like we can do this. It is back to us in the Lara phase. Let's move, shall we? We really just need to move 1, 2. We need to move in a non-straight line, really. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 is ideal. Wow, 7 is super ideal. Let's move with 3. All right, 3 dice. Here we go. Okay, that's 5. So we re-roll this one, And I'm hoping for a double success. Single success. Okay, so this is 6. All right, so we can move 6 spaces. So let's go 1, 2. Oh, I forgot the high, low. So maybe that math is wrong. So 1, 2, 3. And now that this is completely on this tile, it unlocks the door. This is now open. We can grab the artifacts. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I need to move 2 spaces, and then I need to discard a tile to pick up the artifact. So let's try to prioritize that. I'm just going to move using 1 die. That's okay. It's a lot of movement. So 1, 2. I'm going to discard a die to pick up the artifact. And now I need to run. I need to run to the exit. Now the question is, do I go this way or do I go this way? This way is shorter but more treacherous because that's where the enemies are right now. It would have been great if I could hide, but I can't hide because in order for you to be successful, you need to have 3 successes. So it's just not even possible for me right now. So I'm just gonna move. I'm gonna move and I'm gonna try to go this way. I think that's probably the better move here. All right, so that's two movements. 1, 2. Okay, that was actually probably pretty awful. I probably should have stayed where I was. But anywho, let's go into the enemy phase. So they're both wild animals. They're gonna move 4 spaces directly for me. Great. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now, wildlife have a power of 2, but they have to be adjacent to you in order to attack, which they're not right now. So this one's also gonna go 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh my gosh, so close. So close. Okay, let's see. Please don't make them move and attack again. Uh-oh. Okay, we get another wildlife animal. Let's go with another snake. And let's see where they are going to spawn. 2. All right, I'm totally surrounded by wildlife that want to eat me. So let's go ahead and go back to the Lara phase. And honestly, I think I can just go this way because there's really not that much more benefit to going that way now that everybody's here. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll 1 die and then maybe I can just sprint. Well, it would be great to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and then sprint. So let's roll 3. I'm gonna roll 3 dice and see how far we can go. Okay, so this is a sacrifice. So let's re-roll this. Okay, that's another sacrifice. So right now it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can go 7. What is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I go 7, then I'll need to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, let's do it. Let's sacrifice the card. We're almost to the end here. And I'm just gonna move the 7 spaces, right? Yeah, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No reason to hurt the wildlife in this endeavor. Then let's go ahead and move again. And I don't think it's possible for me to reach that last space with only 2 dice. So I might as well just roll all of them because, or do I want a research card? I'm literally like 1 action away from getting out of here. Oh, wow. Let me re-roll these. They're all sacrifice symbols, which I'm gonna say no, making them a failure. Okay. That's better. So this is 3, 4, 5, 6. I could sacrifice an event to make it 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's do it. I'm going to sacrifice this event. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm on that last space. And technically, I think I can exit because exiting does not require you to spend a die. You just have to be on the last space with no enemies on your tile. And in fact, if you still had additional dice left over, it's recommended for you to take a search action or something to gain additional resources because, again, these resources are carried over from chapter to chapter. So there's no point in delaying it. I'm just going to exit. We did it. We met our objectives for the chapter, which was just to collect the artifact and then be able to exit the tomb. But of course, in order to do that, we had to move this boulder, which required some acrobatics over here, some gymnastics, just to get it completely on this tile. Now, we did not really take any damage, which is great. I was too scared of that. We were able to use our dual pistols, but we didn't really craft much else. Now, again, this was chapter 4 of a 15-chapter adventure, and so the difficulty will increase as you play further and further into the adventure. But once the chapter ends, you would then immediately gain any rewards according to the adventure book. And in the case of chapter 4, these rewards are going to be 4 resources drawn from the bag, because again, you can carry them on to the next chapter. Fortunately, we did not have to refresh the event deck, so if we were to play Chapter 5, it would not be an invaded chapter, which is great. Now, as the game becomes more difficult, especially in the randomized campaign, which can take up to 3 hours to play, you will probably want to craft more stuff. So crafting these special dice are nice because the die distribution, I believe, is a little bit better. There is no sacrifice die face on these. The difference between these and the Lara dice, though, is when you decide to spend them, you can hold on to them for as long as you want, but when you decide to spend them, they just get discarded. You don't get to continue to use them. In addition, we were able to gain a research card, but just so you know, if you are curious what other research cards there are, there's like skip event phase, you can add additional successes to a roll, you can dodge a trap. So these are super helpful. Research cards you definitely want to gain. We didn't gain any outfits, which I'm a little bit disappointed about, actually. I wanted to gain one of these because they're helpful. Like, this is the Jungle Heavy outfit that says once per Lara phase, you may re-roll all failed dice in a roll. So these can be very helpful. This is -1 damage from traps, just ongoing, because it's the Immortal Guardian outfit. You also have the Biker outfit that gives you 1 additional damage specifically to melee attacks. So there's a wide variety of outfits that you can have. As for weapons, again, you can hold at most 2 of them at any given time. And when you go to use your weapons, you can only use 1 weapon per Lara phase, 1 type of weapon. So had I chosen to use a dual pistols, but say I had also this TR3 launcher, I could use a dual pistols as many times as I want or I'm able to in a single Lara phase. I just couldn't now switch over to the other one until the next Lara phase. Some weapons, such as this one, have a wide variety of spaces that they'll target at one time when you launch them. So this one will damage all enemies within that 3x3 grid, which is amazing. So each of these different weapons has a different amount of ammo. Like this one can go up to 6. And also different amounts of range. So the dual pistols, which is the one that we used the entire chapter, is the most basic of the weapons, the one that you typically start the adventure book with. And finally, we have other abilities. So we were able to use this sprint action, which was actually very helpful specifically for this chapter, because this chapter really required us to just run around the map. But there are other ones like focus that says all success rolls are 2 successes. Oh, wow. And this applies to the current Lara phase, or some of them are one-time or like ongoing abilities, such as Adorn, which allows you to equip a second outfit. There's Distract that lets you place the noise token up to 3 spaces away from you, so you have a little bit more flexibility in terms of where the noise token goes. Gather, which is helpful for the event deck. You can shuffle 1 removed event card back into the event deck. So there's a wide variety of ability cards as well. Well, there you go. That was a sample of one of the chapters that are in the adventure book. Now, again, once you complete all 15 chapters, then you can continue on to playing completely randomized standalone campaigns that play in about up to 3 hours. And in later scenarios, you'll encounter larger, more difficult to defeat bosses, as well as an additional map that you'll be traversing around. Now, if you'd like to learn more information about the game, as well as the campaign, which is only going to be live for a few more days, I've included a link to their campaign in the description below. And if you have any questions about anything that you saw here today, please feel free to leave me a comment and I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you so much for watching the video. I really hope it was helpful. If you enjoy content like this and would like to see more in the future, please consider subscribing. Thank you. Bye.